All right, so now we're covering angles part 2. So we're going to cover some important angles. The first type of angle is called adjacent angle. So these are neighboring angles. That's why I remember them. And so when you have neighbors, you share a common wall. Okay, neighboring. So with adjacent angles, you're going to share a common vertex and a common side. So if you see here, angle 1 and angle 2 are considered adjacent angles because they share that one side there, okay? So next we have a linear pair. So they're still adjacent angles, meaning they're side by side, whose non-common sides are opposite rays. Okay, so these are the non-common sides that we talk about. This ray is going in this direction, and then this ray is going in this direction. Okay, and it says the sum of the measure of the angles in a linear pair is 180 degrees. So the reason that they're 180 degrees, if you remember in the previous lesson, this is a straight line, meaning it's a straight angle. So together, these two angles make 180 degrees. All right, the next is going to be vertical angles. So non-adjacent, this means that they're not going to share a side. So non-adjacent angles formed by intersecting lines. And so your vertical angles are congruent, meaning that they're equal in measure. So if we look here, here's angle 5 and here's angle 6. They're vertically across from each other. I don't know if you guys learned it like this in middle school, but they're also called kissing angles, and they make like a cute little face with little lips. I'm not really good at drawing, but they also call them kissing angles. That is a bad picture. So just remember them, they're vertically across from each other. All right. Next it says here, use a figure to answer the following. Identify two pairs of adjacent angles. So we're going to give two adjacent angles. So if we look here, angle 1 and angle 2, they share this common side. So that would be adjacent angles. And 5 and 4 also share this side. So angle 5 and angle 4. Okay, now those are not the only ones. There's other ones. There's 3 and 4, 4 and 5, 5 and 1, 1 and 2. So we just gave 2 examples. The next one says identify the linear pairs. So we're going to see which ones make a straight line. Okay, so here's a straight line. So linear pair, now linear pair means 2. So 1 and 2 make a straight line. So angle 1 and angle 2. And then we look for another straight line. If we look, we have a straight line going this way. Let me erase this so we don't get confused. And that would be 2 and 3 together make a straight line. Okay. Now 1, 5, and 4 together make a straight line, but they said a linear pair, and a pair is 2. A pair is not 3, a pair is 2, so that's why we can't say 1, 5, and 4. But 2 and 3 are a pair. Next, how many vertical angles are shown in the figure? So if we look here, we're looking for vertical angles. So first off, we look for lines across, these two that go straight across. That's what we're looking for, okay? Next, this 5, this one right here is just kind of like just cutting through, so we don't have to worry about that one. We're looking, if you notice, 1 and 3 are directly across from each other. Okay, so that means that angle 1 and angle 3. Okay, the next one, it says how many pairs? Sorry, I didn't answer these questions right. How many pairs? There's only one pair. One pair. And then it says identify the vertical angles. We said angle 1 and angle 3. Which are these ones? This one and this one. Okay, so here they tell us the measure of angle 1 is 70. So I'm going to go ahead and fill this out on my chart. So measure of angle 1 is 70 degrees. The measure of angle 4 is 45 degrees. Then they want us to find 2, 3, and 5. Okay, so from this information, we need to remember 2 things. The first thing is that vertical angles are congruent, meaning that they're equal. Okay, the next thing that we need to remember is that a linear pair is going to add up to 180 degrees. So because angle 1 is 70 degrees, then that means that angle 3 is also 70 degrees because these are vertical angles. So angle 3 is 70. Okay, angle 1 and angle 2 are a linear pair. They make a straight line together, so that means that they need to add up to 180. So the measure of angle 1 plus the measure of angle 2 should equal 180. And we know that angle 1 is 70 degrees. We don't know what the measure of angle 2 is, but we can figure that out by solving for the measure of angle 2. And we do that by getting rid of this 70 or by subtracting 70 degrees from 180 degrees. Oops. So that gives us a measure of angle 2 equals 180 minus 70 is 110. So 110. So this one is 110 degrees. And then all we have to figure out left is angle 5. Now, if you recall, I did tell you guys that these three angles here are not a linear pair, but they do make a straight angle. All three of these make a straight angle together. So that means 70 plus this one should equal 180. So let's go ahead and figure, whoa, sorry. Oh, what's going on? My screen's going crazy. Oh. Okay, so we are going to figure out what that angle is. So we're going to go ahead and take the measure of angle 1 plus the measure of angle 5 plus the measure of angle 4, and that should equal 180. So 1 is 70, 5 we don't know, and then the measure of angle 4 is 45. Equals 180. Well, the 70 and the 45 together gives us 115 degrees, and we don't know what the measure of angle 5 is. That's what we're looking for. Then to solve for it, we subtract the 115. So 180 minus 115, the measure of angle 5 equals 65. All right, moving on to the next example. So here it says, use a diagram and the given information to find the following measures. So we look at the diagram, we need to identify, well, what kind of angles these are that are given. So these two are vertical angles, okay? So referring back to the information that they gave us, the vertical angles are congruent, or they're equal. So when we are solving for x, we're gonna set these equal to each other. So 3x minus 3 equals 2x plus 8. We're going to go ahead and solve for x. So I'm going to take this 2x and move it to the other side. We get x minus 3 equals 8. This cancels. And then we're going to go ahead and move this 3 to the other side. So we add the 3 to both sides, and we get x equals 11. So here we're going to put 11. All right, so then RST. In order for us to find RST is this angle right here. So I'm going to go ahead and take my 11 and I'm going to plug it in. So 3 times 11 is 33. Minus 3 gives us 30 degrees. The next one asks us for USV, which is a vertical angle. And so they should be equal. This should equal 30, but I'm going to go ahead and check my work. So let's go ahead and plug it in. So 2 times 11 is 22 plus 8. That also gives us 30. Now, if it doesn't give you the same number, that means you might have done something wrong, okay? So I just went ahead and just put that in there. So now they're asking us for RSU. So RSU is this outer angle here. So the way that you find that, if you look here, it makes a straight line here with this angle, which we know is 30. And this one, we don't know what it is. So that means they both need to add up to 180. So to figure it out, we're going to do 180 minus 30, and that gives us 150. Okay, so this is 150 degrees. Now they're asking us for VST. So VST is this one right here, which is vertical angles with the one we just found. So that means that this one is also 150. All right. The next section, it says, use the diagram and the given information to find the following measures. Okay, so this one, our diagram is a little bit different. This right here is a linear pair. This is a straight line. So they're not equal, they add up to 180. So this one's a little bit different the way we set up the problem. So the x plus 25, we add it to the 2x plus 20. And we set it equal to 180. They should add up to 180. So we go ahead and take the x and the 2x together. That gives us 3x. We have 25 and 20. Together, that's 45 is equal to 180. Then we move over the 45 minus 45 minus 45, and we get 3x equals 180 minus 45 gives us 135. We go ahead and divide both sides by 3. This cancels, and we get x equals 135 divided by 3 is going to give us 45. So this is 45. So now we're going to go ahead and find some of the angles. So they're asking us first for ABD. So ABD is talking about this angle here. So I'm going to plug in 45 plus 25. That gives us 80. Okay, next they're asking us for CBD. So C, B, and D is this side over here. So we're going to do 2 times 45 plus 20. Remember, these are not equal. They're a linear pair, so they should add up to an 80. So 2 times 45 is 90, plus 20 is 110. Oh, you know what? This is an 80. Sorry. I was like, wait a second. This gives you 70. Sorry. And that's the way that you can check your work. 45, 50, 60. These two should add up to 180. And then last, they asked us for angle ABC, which is a straight angle. So our straight angle would equal 180 degrees. Okay, the next one, here it says use the diagram and the given information to find the values of the variables. All right, so this time we have 2 pairs of angles. First, if we look, we have our vertical angles here. We have 5x is vertical angles with y. So that means that 5x is equal to y. Okay, because remember, vertical angles are equal, so you set them equal to each other. Unfortunately, you have 2 different variables. You have an x and a y, so you can't solve for either one. But if we notice here, this is a 5x and this is a 17x plus 4. So these 2 angles need to add up to 180 because they make a straight line. So that's where I am going to start. 5x plus 17x plus 4 should equal 180 because they make a straight line. So we're going to go ahead and solve for x. 5x and 17x gives us 22x plus 4 equals 180. We subtract the 4 on both sides, and we get 22x equals 176. We divide it by 22. This cancels. X equals 176 divided by 22 is 8. So here, x is equal to 8. And then, now that we know what x is, we can go ahead and plug it in here. 5 times 8, x is 8, equals y. Well, 5 times 8 is 40. That means 40 is equal to y. And that's it for that problem. All right, the next one, it says 2 angles form a linear pair. The measure of one angle is 8 times the measure of the other angle. Find the measure of each angle. Okay, so first, if we look at the first part, it says 2 angles form a linear pair. So I'm going to go ahead and draw a linear pair. Okay, so when they don't give you a picture, you need to take it upon yourself to make the picture. Then it says the measure of one angle is 8 times the measure of the other angle. Okay, so the bigger angle, I'm going to make it 8x. Okay, this is an obtuse angle, so it's a little bit bigger. And then the other angle would be just x. Okay, now because they form a linear pair, we're going to add them together. 8x plus x, and when we add them together, it should equal 180. 8x plus 8x is 9x equals 180. And then we go ahead and divide by 9 to solve for x, and that gives us 20. So when I plug it in here, x is equal to 20 degrees. And then 8 times 20 gives you 160 degrees. And that's it. All right, so we're gonna add a few more angles in here. The first one is complementary angles. So you have complementary angles, then that means that your two angles will add up to 90 degrees. Okay, the way that I remember this, if you notice, the C and the O can make let me use a different color, sorry, black. The C and the O, they kind of make a 90, you can make a 90 degrees with that. Okay, so that's how I remember complementary is 90 degrees. So here it tells us ABC and CBD are complementary. Solve for X and find the measure of each angle. So because they tell us that they're complementary, that means that these two, you can kind of see from the picture that they make a right angle. These two should add up to 90. Equals 90. So 2x and 3x together, that gives us 5x minus 10 equals 90. We add the 10 to both sides. We get 5x equals 100, and our last step to solve for x is to divide by 5, and that means x is equal to 20. So now that I found what x is, I'm going to go ahead and plug it in. 2 times 20 gives us 40, so that means this angle is 40. So this is ABC. ABC is 40. And then CBD is this other end, so 3, our x is 20, so 3 times 20 is 60, minus 10 is 50. All right, the next one. So here it says the measure of one angle is 3 times the measure of its complement. Okay, so I know it doesn't say complementary, but it says complement. So the way that I remember complement, you can make a 90 degrees out of it. So our complement means that they add up to 90. So I'm going to make a picture. Here's my 90-degree angle. And then I'm going to go ahead and split it up. And it says one angle is 3 times the measure of its complement. So one angle, I'm going to make it 3x, and then the other one is just x. Because this one's 3 times the size. So then when we set it up, we do 3x plus x equals 90. And then 3x plus x, that gives us 4x equals 90. And we go ahead and divide it by 4. And that means that x is equal to 22.5. So then I'm going to go ahead and plug it in here, 22.5 degrees, and then 3 times x. So that gives us 67.5 degrees. And that's it. These two would be our answers. All right, the last one that we're going to go over, this one is supplementary angles. Okay, two angles whose measures sum up to 180. So the difference between supplementary angles and a linear pair is that they don't necessarily have to be on the same line. So if you look here, those are considered supplementary angles, but they're also considered a linear pair. They don't have to be connected though. They can be angle 3, it can be separate from 4, and we just call them supplementary. Okay, and they add up to 180. So the way that I remember that, if you notice, you can make this S into an 8. And that's how I remember it's 180 degrees. All right, so ABC and CBD are supplementary. So right away, I know I'm going to have to add them up to 180. And it says the measure of angle ABC is 5x minus 22. And the measure of angle CBD is 8x plus 46. Solve for x and find the measures of the angles. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and draw a picture. Here is A, B, C. There's my angle. Now we have a separate angle, which is C, B, D. And so they tell us, now this could have been connected as a linear pair. I chose not to connect it as a linear pair. But it still means the exact same thing. So ABC is 5x minus 22 degrees, and then 8x plus 46. And then it wants us to solve for x. So these two angles, since they're supplementary, that means that they need to add up to 180. So I'm going to go ahead and add them up. So we have 5x minus 22 plus 8x plus 46. This is equal to 180. Okay, so 5x plus 8x together, that gives us 12, 13x. Negative 22 and 46, that gives us 24, a positive 24. This is equal to 180. To solve for x, we subtract the 24. And then we get 13x equals 180 minus the 24 gives us 156. Then we divide both sides by 13. This cancels. X equals 12. All right, so then I'm going to go ahead and plug in the 12. So here 5 times 12 is 60 minus 22 gives us 38. So ABC is equal to 38. Then CBD, we're going to go ahead and plug it in. CBD over here is 8, x is 12, so 8 times 12 is 96 plus 46 gives us 142 degrees. All right, the last example. Okay, it says here the measure of an angle is 38 less than the measure of its supplement. So even though it doesn't say supplementary, the supplement means that they add up to 180. Find the measure of each angle. So this time I'm going to draw it as a linear pair. Okay, remember supplementary angles can be a linear pair, they can be separate. They don't have to be side by side. But here it says the measure of an angle is 38 less than the measure of its supplement. So this one is 38 less than. You write it as x minus 38. So that means that the other one is just x. Okay. Now because they are supplementary, they need to add up to 180. Okay, x plus x is 2x minus 38 equals 180. We go ahead and add the 38 to both sides. We get 2x equals 208. Then we divide both sides by 2, and we get x equals 109. And that's it. Oh wait, not that's it. It says find the measure of each angle. So we found x, we found this one is 109 degrees. So then the other one, we're going to have to do 109 minus 38. And that gives us 71 degrees. Okay, now we're done. All right, thank you guys. We'll see you next time. Bye.